In today's video, by popular demand, we are going to learn, drumroll, Scald and the Brave. All right. I've had so many people reach out saying, please do a video for Scald and the Brave. It's the most popular of the bagpipe tunes out there, right? But I have to say, it is not the easiest of all the bagpipe tunes, all right? Beginners always come up and they always say, you know, I want to learn the bagpipes. I want to learn how to play Scald and the Brave. Okay. But you have to learn how to play torluas, you have to learn how to play doublings, you have to learn how to play grips, you have to learn how to play a thumb, grace note. There's all sorts of different things in this tune you have to learn before you can learn this tune, all right? So although it's, I guess, the most popular bagpipe tune out there, it's not necessarily the easiest bagpipe tune out there, all right? So make sure you know how to do all those things, all right, before you learn how to play this tune, okay? And so we'll break this tune apart phrase by phrase. So even if you are a beginner, you know, you should still be able to do it. We'll do it nice and slowly and all that good stuff. All right. But before we do that, if you don't know all those things, like how to play doublings and grips and grace notes and all that stuff, you can go to the Highland Bagpipe Academy, all right, at highlandbagpipe.com. Check that out. There's a free course, great little free course. You can go in there and you can learn how to do all those things. There's a free tune book that has this tune, Scald and the Brave, in there as well. And there's also a paid course that goes all the way from beginning to learn how to pipes up to some very advanced stuff, all right, that you can pay for as well. And yeah, just check out that. That's my website. I'd love it if you checked it out. And now let's learn how to play Scald and the Brave, phrase by phrase, real nice and slow. All right, so the A phrase of the tune should sound something like this. All right, a couple things to watch for. Let's break it down bar by bar first, okay? So in the first bar, something to watch for is we really want to hold that first low A, okay, before the torluth. Almost any time you see a quarter note like that before the torluth, you're really going to want to hold it, all right? So it's written kind of like this, but you really want to hold it, all right? You want to go, all right, E-dum, ba-dum, ba-dee-dum, ba-dum. Instead of E-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum, you want to go E-dum, ba-dum, ba-dee-dum, ba-dum. All right, so really hold that first low A, and obviously hold the low A after it as well, just because it's got a dot on it, okay? And then cut that B. So the first bar should really be like this. All right, and you got to make sure when playing those C doublings, you want to keep them nice and open. All right, so lots to remember. All right, so really hold that first low A, and then really open up those C doublings. All right, so the first bar again is. Okay. And then the second bar is just, all right, you really got to, well, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you get that strike around the beat. You want to go, all right, right when the foot comes down. All right, and then the grip, you're really going to hold that A before the grip, all right, that high A. All right, very similar to what you did with the low A, all right? All right, and then obviously open up that C doubling as well, all right? Very similar to what you did in the A bar, or sorry, in the earlier bar, all right? So things to watch in the second bar is make sure that strike is on the beat, and then make sure you hold that high A before the grip. And make sure that C doubling is nice and open. All right. Lots to think about in this phrase, even though it doesn't really look that complicated. Okay. So again, hold that first low A before the torluth. All right. Then keep those C doublings nice and open throughout the entire phrase. and then make sure that high A strike is right on the beat, and make sure that you hold that high A before the high A grip. Okay, lots to think about. All right, let's try it with me, really nice and slow. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Remember all those things I talked about? Hold that low A. All right, again, hold the low A, and then hold that high A before the strike. All right, good job. Obviously, you know, if you're a beginner, if you really need to open things up, you can go. All right, if you're more of a novice or intermediate player, you know, you can play a little bit quicker. All right, but like always, you know, sit down with a metronome, play this really nice and slowly. You know, if you're a member of the Highland Bagpipe Academy, you know, go with sit down with the interactive sheet music that's on there and play along with it as well, and just sit down and listen to that metronome and just play along really nice and slow, and just keep practicing it. All right, over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, all right, so that's the A phrase. Let's go on to the B phrase next. Okay, the B phrase should sound something like this. Okay, so the first, we'll break it apart bar by bar again. The first bar, there's not too much in there to worry about. You know, make sure you hold that first make sure you hold that first F. Make sure you keep your C doublings nice and open again. So it's just, all right. There's not really much to worry about in there. If you really concentrate on keeping those C doublings nice and open, I think the rest kind of falls into place. Okay, that's it for that first bar. Okay, it's really not too much to it, and it's not too hard. The second bar sounds like this. All right, it's a little bit more difficult than the first bar, but it's just really two doublings. All right. Make sure you play those nice, and then that strike needs to be right on the beat. What comes after that. And then you have that kind of run. That. When practicing this phrase, I would also end on a low A, all right, with a high G grace down to a low A. I would go, even though it's not written in the sheet music, right? It just kind of finishes the phrase. And when playing that, you know, obviously you're going to cut the cut notes and hold the dotted notes a little more than you think you should, all right? So anytime you see a dot, you know, you hold it obviously. Anytime you see a cut, you cut it obviously, but you're going to do it to the extreme almost, all right? So anytime you see a dot, you really, really, really hold it. Anytime you see a cut, you really, 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 really cut it, all right? So it's... All right, instead of going, you want it to be nice, dot and cut. Okay, all right. So let's try that entire phrase nice and slowly, all right? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, remember things to watch for. Make sure that strike in the second bar is on the beat. Make sure you cut those cut notes and hold those dots. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And make sure you keep those C doublings nice and open. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's all there really is to it. All right. Again, yeah, the first bar. Make sure you hold that F. And you really want to keep those C doublings nice and open. All right. Then you have your 2 doublings. Depending on if you're a real beginner, you might be going. All right. I do not want you to go. All right. That's not how you play it. It's dee dum ba dee da da dum. All right. Really, really, really hold those dotted notes and really cut those cut notes in that phrase. That's a really important part of this tune. If you don't do that, it's just not going to sound right. Okay. So really try to do that phrase. Okay. All right. Again, work on this slowly with a metronome and build it up in speed. Keep those C doublings nice and open, hold all the dots and cut all the cuts. And once you can do all that, meet me on the C phrase. Okay, the C phrase sounds like this. All right. Very, very similar to the B phrase. All right. The first bar is the exact same. All right. So we don't really need to spend any time on the first bar. All right. It's just. All right. So it's the exact same thing. We just got to make sure we hold that F and keep those C doublings nice and open. All right. So the second bar is just like this. All right, it's just dum dum ba dum ba dum. So really, we got to make sure that we hold that low A. All right, and you got to make sure also that you get that low G grace note in there. All right. All right, a lot of people miss that. Okay. And then those next 2 notes, that C doubling up to the E, that's kind of an intro into the next part, but we'll put it in there anyways, all right? When you're practicing this, if you wanted to, you could really just go and stop, all right? Or you can go. It's up to you, all right? You can put because that C and that E are really more part of the next phrase than they are part of this phrase, but they're in this bar. I'll let you decide how you want to practice it, but if it makes you feel better to practice it ending on that low A when you're practicing with a metronome and stuff after this, by all means do that, okay? So again, there's not really that much in this second bar, all right? Just make sure you hold that low A, make sure you get that low G doubling in there, or that low G grace note or strike or whatever you want to call it, okay? All right, so try it with me really slow, all right? The entire phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Again, you gotta make sure you hold that low A in the second bar, all right? 1 and the F in the first bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's really all there is to that phrase. I guess it's probably the easiest phrase of all the phrases in this tune, all right? Again, because it's so similar to the B as well, all right? And then that second bar is pretty easy, okay? Nevertheless, sit down with the metronome, make sure you can play it well, and once you can, move on to the D phrase, All right, this D phrase, really not that hard. All right, the first bar and the second bar are almost the exact same. The first bar goes down to a low A, and the second at the very end, and the second bar goes up to an E. That's the only difference. All right, so you're basically just learning one bar, and all the things in it are things we've worked on already. All right, you got to make sure that that first high A strike is right on the beat. All right, you got to make sure that's right on the beat, and then you got to make sure you hold that high A before the grip. All right, you got to make sure you do that, and then you got to make sure you keep that that C doubling nice and open. All right, it's all things we've worked on in previous phrases, so it really shouldn't be too hard. All right, but the whole phrase sounds like this. All right, so why don't you try with me nice and slowly 4 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, again, not too hard. Just do those things. Make sure that that strike is on the beat and the grip. You hold wait. Hold that hold that high A long before the grip. And then you want to make sure that you have that C double nice and open. All right. That's about it for that phrase, okay? That's the entire tune. Again, if you're a beginner piper, please keep everything super, super nice and open, all right? I assume you're probably, if you're not a beginner piper, maybe a novice player if you're watching these videos. So if you're a beginner piper, please keep everything super open, all right? I want you... All right, keep everything super open for the first year, 2 years you're playing. You won't regret it. It'll pay dividends, a lot of dividends later in your playing, all right? If you're a novice player, yeah, you can speed it up a bit. You can play it like you normally would. All right, but again, if you're a beginner, please play it slowly. And even if you're a novice player, please make sure you're playing with a metronome. I've heard a lot of players play this tune and they just go. And they play it too fast and they play it all muffled and they sound like what I just did there. It sounds god awful and you hear it all over the place. All right, so do not do that. Play it nice and slow. Break it down. Don't be one of those people. Be somebody who's playing it better than that, all right? Be better than that. You can be, all right? So congratulations. If you made it this far into the video, you know, you've at least made an effort to learn Scout and the Brave the proper way. Get out the metronome, learn the tune, and thanks for tuning in. All right, thanks so much for joining me to learn Scout and the Brave on the practice Chanter. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you play it with a metronome, and I hope you play it real nice and slow and break things down. And I also hope that you check out my website, highlandbagpipe.com, for the free course, for the free tune book. And if you want to, you can sign up for the big course as well. I'd love that as well. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the channel so I actually know people are watching these videos. All right. Thank you so much.